Hey guys, welcome to FoundFlix. The long-running American horror story is back. In Cult, the show switches gears in a big way compared to previous seasons, moving away from supernatural horror and using the 2016 US election as a backdrop to show us just how scary the real world can be. So let's look at the season premiere episode, breaking down the big moments and giving some theories on where I believe things will be heading in future episodes. After a brief rundown of the campaign, we are brought to election night 2016, where to the shock of many, Donald Trump became president of the United States. And it's this momentous occasion and the perceived fallout of his election that, according to the show, has created a new world driven by fear. We see the sides' quite varied reactions to the election, first via Allie, a well-off lesbian liberal who literally cannot process the idea of Trump winning, to the extent that the fear his winning created and the uncertainty of the world as a result is causing her numerous phobias to increase to a whole new dangerous level, and she is now suffering from a complete mental breakdown. On the flip side, we have Kai, the unhinged blue-haired Trump supporter who is so happy that Trump wins, he literally humps his TV. Kai sees that same fear in a very different light than Allie. To him, fear is an opportunity to be taken advantage of. Now that Trump is in charge and based on what he believes Trump stands for, it's a free-for-all for people like him to get away with whatever they want. That's the new world he believes exists now. We see his feelings pour out in a scene where he shows up to a local city court hearing where he is on the opposing side of assisting a Jewish center. Rather than help the center, he believes they should blow it up, causing chaos and forcing people to seek out protection from them. One man, played by Randall Park, who is also friends with Allie, ridicules Kai's stance, telling him it's him who is afraid, not them. Defeated, he leaves, but on the way out he warns Park that there is nothing more dangerous than a man who has been humiliated, which we see come to fruition in a bit. Overall, it appears that Kai's long game is to rise to power using fear as a currency, building a cult of worshippers to follow him, seeking his protection in a world built on fear. We see the first steps of him doing this when he approaches a group of Hispanic men at night in an alley. He antagonizes them singing La Cucaracha and pissing into a condom, which he fills up and then tosses at the group. Understandably pissed, the group beats the crap out of Kai, but this was all part of his plan, as we see the whole scene is being recorded on a phone nearby. And I'm positive that the recording won't show the first part of the incident with him harassing the group, but just him getting beaten up. This footage will no doubt be leaked to the public in an attempt to go viral and will create more fear to the public. Now that Trump is in charge and going hard on immigration, it looks like Hispanic people are rising up against the whites. Or that's what Kai is wanting everyone to believe. As a result, he'll look like a victim and garner the public sympathy, which all works towards his end goal. We don't quite know if Kai already has members in his cult in town, but he at least has his sister Winter as an accomplice, who we first meet lamenting the loss of Hillary to a friend on the phone. But I don't believe she really cares about Hillary winning. It's more about them taking advantage of whoever wins, no matter who it is. And it seems that the siblings had a bet going on which candidate would win, and now that Trump has won as Kai predicted, Winter has to do whatever Kai tells her, whereas if Hillary won, he would be forced to follow her. Ultimately though, it looks like Winter is also actually motivated by fear of Kai, as when he asks what she's most afraid of in the world, she says you. She also says she dreads children, and perhaps as a way to confront her fears, Winter gets a job as Allie's nanny for her son Ozzy. Ozzy already seems a bit deranged due to his mother's increasing problems, as well as reading violent comics featuring Twisty the Clown. But of course, rather than nurture the boy, Winter promptly corrupts him further. And after seeing that he is drawing a violent picture of Twisty killing someone, she shows him real dead bodies thanks to the dark side of the internet. And if that wasn't enough, she shows him a real murder as well that occurs across the street, which I will get back to in a minute as we need to talk more about Allie first. Allie is having major difficulties coming to terms with the post-election world and begins to see more and more terrifying visions. At an empty grocery store, she tries to do her shopping, but suddenly she sees a group of perverted clowns having sex on the produce section. You don't want that melon. That's not good melon. She is chased around the store, defending herself by tossing rosé bottles at her clown attackers. But after the incident, there is no evidence that these clowns were ever really there. It was said initially she did have a fear of clowns, and it seems that she is seeing them as part of her increasing phobias that are taking her over mentally. And after each time that Allie tries to talk to her wife Ivy about what's going on, she is always quite cold and unsupportive, calling Allie insane and generally not believing her. So the question is, are the clowns real or just in Allie's mind? There's something about Allie's story and the people she interacts with that makes me feel like I can't trust literally anybody. I'm sure this is to make us as an audience feel more about what Allie is going through, and it's worth considering the possibility that the majority of the small town of 10,000 is all part of the cult. Like her psychiatrist who prescribes her anti-anxiety medication, despite Allie not wanting to take anything that chemically alters her body. He insists it's for her own good, saying it's necessary to prevent further damage to her life and family. But I just don't trust him. And it could be that the drugs he's giving her are actually feeding further into her delusions. For another example, the lone clerk at the grocery store, Chaz Bono, puts on a hat showing his support for Trump. And so it's entirely possible he lied about what happened at the store and the clowns were really there. Chances are Chaz is already a part of the cult, as we see his hand is missing and in an earlier trailer see him chained up still with his hand. Possibly a flashback that is most likely part of a ritualistic sacrifice he went through in order to join the cult. Then we even have Allie's wife Ivy, the person she is closest with and should be able to trust the most. But consistently Ivy doesn't support or believe Allie and rather insists that nothing out of the ordinary is going on, the clowns aren't real, and that the reality is Allie is losing her mind. So maybe the clowns aren't actually there, but I'd say it's much more likely that Ivy is specifically choosing to play into Allie's insanity and is in fact encouraging it to put her in a more mental state. This concept is called gaslighting, where someone leads someone else to believe that they are losing their mind, and I'd say that's what's going on here. It looks like Ivy is also working for the cult, and for some specific reason they are targeting Allie. The two possibilities that I considered are one, that she is trying to get full custody of Ozzy, and Allie going insane would definitely help with that. It seems that Ozzy is quite important, but I'm not quite sure in what capacity yet. Though it's possible, as Ozzy doesn't know who his father is, that Kai was actually the sperm donor and thusly Ozzy's real father. Or another yet somewhat sillier possibility is that Ivy is pissed that Allie didn't vote for Hillary. They have a conversation about how Allie couldn't vote for Hillary because she couldn't trust her, and Ivy's response is that they only needed 10,000 votes to win, and if others like her had voted for Hillary, things wouldn't be so bad as they now believe them to be. So perhaps the reasoning behind Ivy doing all of this is she blames Allie to some extent for why the country is the way it is now because of voters like her. There's also a trailer shot that shows Ivy and Winter in what looks like the back of her restaurant carving someone up. This could clearly point to Ivy's involvement in the cult, but it could also just be a dream of some kind, since the show loves pulling those kinds of tricks in the promos. A lot of the premiere was setting up the pieces of the story, and at this point we are supposed to be under the impression that Allie is not seeing the clowns and they're not really there, but I think a sequence near the end of the episode proves that the clowns have to be real. While Winter is watching Ozzy, he is distracted hearing an ice cream truck, watching it pull up across the street through his window. Then the truck doors open and out steps the same creepy clown gang like Dick Nose and Ball Gag that Allie had also been seeing. This could indicate that Ozzy is suffering the same phobia as his mother, but he seems to like murderous clowns rather than fearing them. It's just too specific that the clowns in the truck are the same ones seen by his mother, and I doubt she would specifically detail each of their appearances to her son. All of this means to me that this clown gang is in fact very real and seem to be working for Kai, as the couple that is murdered and witnessed by Ozzy are Randall Park and his wife, and it was Randall that humiliated Kai in court earlier, where Kai did threaten him with retaliation, and certainly Randall and his wife being brutally killed would fit in line with that. Again, the victims are too specific and personal here and must be related to Kai based on his encounter that he had earlier in court, and shows that the murderous clown gang must be tied to his burgeoning cult. Although this is called into question when Allie and Ivy make it to the crime scene later. Ozzy tells them exactly what we see, the clowns murdered the couple, but then Winter says he just has an active imagination and they didn't actually see anything. But again, if she's working with Kai, it would make sense for her to lie about what happened. Same goes for the detective, who when asked what's going on refers to it as a murder-suicide, but there's nothing about what we see that looks even remotely like a murder-suicide. So it's possible that the detective, as well as pretty much everyone in the relatively tiny town, are all involved in the cult and are weeding out those that don't share their ideals. But then the question shifts to why are they targeting Allie so heavily? Why is she so important? I don't think we have enough information to really understand the reasoning behind it yet, but it's again possible that it's tied to Ozzy. And if Kai is his birth father, it makes sense that he would want to have the boy for himself to shape him in his own image. Still seems like a lot of effort to go through for one kid, and I have a feeling there's a lot more to their plan we haven't seen yet that will be further revealed in upcoming episodes. Well guys, that'll do it for my breakdown of the season premiere of American Horror Story Cult. I'm not sure that I will do videos for the entire season after the Mist debacle, but if you want to see me do videos on more episodes, give this video a like and comment below to let me know you want more. What did you guys think of the episode? Do you think everyone in town is already in on the cult? And why do you think Allie is so important? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for watching FoundFlix. See you next time.